The unforgiving sun beats down on the cracked earth of the Serengeti. A thin, desperate cry cuts through the shimmering heat haze. It belongs to Nia, a baby elephant whose leg is caught fast in a thick steel wire, a forgotten remnant of human cruelty. Each panicked struggle only pulls the snare tighter. A cold, metallic bite against her soft skin. She is utterly alone, a small gray life caught in a deadly trap under a vast, indifferent sky. Her world has shrunk to this single point of agony. On the horizon, two golden shapes shimmer into view. They are Kale and Zahara, a pair of lions whose presence should signal the end. They approach with a liquid grace, their powerful muscles rippling under tawny coats. Yet, their advance is wrong. There is no stalking crouch, no hungry fire in their eyes. They walk with an unnerving, deliberate calm, their heavy paws making soft thuds in the red dust. Their gaze is fixed, not on prey, but on the impossible scene before them. Panic hammers against Nia's ribs, a frantic drum shaking her weakened body. She can smell them now, the ancient scent of the ultimate predator. The instinct passed down through generations screams a single word, Loma, run. But she cannot. She shuts her eyes, bracing for the end. Yet, the lions simply stop a short distance away. Their amber eyes hold not hunger, but a baffling, intense focus. They are watching, waiting, and rewriting the ancient script of nature. The silence stretches, thick with unspoken possibilities. The calf, the snare, the lions, a triangle of fate drawn in the African dust. The hunt has not begun, but something far stranger, something that defies every law of the wild, is about to unfold. But to understand how we arrived at this impossible moment, we must go back to the moment the sun rose. What happened next would challenge everything we thought we knew about survival. Block 2, Context. Just 1 week prior, under the gentler light of a new dawn, the scene was one of profound peace. Nia's herd had gathered at the edge of a sprawling waterhole, their immense gray forms mirrored in the still, glassy surface. Not far away, under the shade of a solitary acacia tree, Kale and Zahara rested. They were a familiar sight in this territory, an older pair whose hunting grounds lay further north. The other elephants kept a respectful, wary distance, but Nia's mother, the matriarch, held a quiet calm. She knew these lions. She had watched them for years, sensing in them a weariness that had tempered their killer instinct, replacing it with a stoic, regal patience. They were a part of this landscape, as constant as the baobab trees. From the safety of her mother's colossal legs, Nia felt no fear. While her cousins huddled, their trunks twitching nervously at the faint scent of predator, Nia felt only an overwhelming sense of wonder. She saw not monsters but two magnificent, sun-drenched kings. Her boundless, youthful curiosity was a powerful force, strong enough to override generations of instinctual terror. She watched Kale's tail twitch, swatting a fly, and saw Zahara's chest rise and fall in a deep, contented sleep. To her, they were not a threat, but a mystery. A beautiful, dangerous puzzle, she felt, an inexplicable pull to understand, a feeling that hummed deep within her small, brave heart. The shift was almost imperceptible, but Kale felt it. He felt the tiny elephant's gaze on him, a weightless touch of pure inquisitiveness. He cracked open a single amber eye. He saw the calf, separated by a few feet from her mother, her trunk raised slightly to taste the air. There was no scent of fear coming from her, only a vibrant, innocent curiosity. His hunter's mind registered her vulnerability, a quick, easy meal, but his body did not stir. Hunger was a distant memory, replaced by the deep ache of age in his bones and a strange sense of recognition. He saw not prey, but a kindred spirit, a small life looking out at the world with the same wide eyes he once had. Emboldened by his stillness, Nia took another step. She let out a low, questioning rumble, a sound that was not a challenge but a greeting. Her mother tensed, ready to intervene at the slightest sign of aggression. But the aggression never came. Instead, Zahara, roused from her slumber, lifted her great head. She looked at the tiny calf and responded not with a growl, but with a soft, breathy chuff. It was a sound of reassurance, a private language of the pride, a gesture of impossible gentleness. In that moment, a silent pact was formed across the species divide, a bond of mutual respect that no one could have predicted. But that fragile understanding was about to be tested in the cruelest way imaginable. The present crashes back with the full force of the midday sun. The heat is no longer a gentle warmth, but a physical, oppressive weight, bending the air into shimmering, distorted waves. Nia's situation has grown dire. The vibrant spark in her eyes has dimmed to a dull, hazy flicker of consciousness. Her earlier frantic struggles have been replaced by weak, involuntary twitches that only serve to grind the steel wire deeper into her raw, swollen leg. Her desperate cries have faded into soft, ragged gasps for air, each one a monumental effort. The world, once a place of wonder, has become a furnace of silent, unrelenting agony, and she is at its very center. Kale feels the shift in the air, the heavy scent of despair now overpowering the smell of dust. He watches the tiny elephant's chest rise and fall in shallow, stuttering rhythms. An unfamiliar and deeply unsettling feeling coils in his gut. It is not hunger, but a fierce, protective rage directed at the glinting metal wire. He sees the life draining from the small creature, and it feels like a personal affront, a violation of the natural order he has presided over for so many years. He exchanges a long, silent glance with Zahara. Her amber eyes reflect his own turmoil and a shared, unspoken decision. The time for observation was over. This slow, cruel execution could not be allowed to continue. The snare itself seems to mock them, an unfeeling, alien thing of cold steel and brutal efficiency. It is the true predator here. It doesn't need to stalk or chase. It simply waits, its grip tightening with every last, desperate pulse of life from its victim. The sun glints off its surface, a sharp, blinding flash that feels like a cruel smile. This remnant of human intrusion is a silent, patient killer, a ghost in the grass that embodies a cruelty far beyond the simple, honest violence of the wild. It is a thing of cold mechanics and endless pain, and against it, the strength of tooth and claw seems utterly useless, a primal force against an industrial death. Zahara paces, her powerful body a tense line of restrained energy. A low, guttural growl rumbles deep in her chest, a sound of profound frustration. Every maternal instinct she possesses screams at her to intervene, to shield this small, suffering life. She has defended her own cubs from hyenas, from rival lions, from the very harshness of the savannah itself, but she has never faced an enemy like this. An enemy she cannot bite, cannot intimidate, cannot drive away. Her gaze sweeps the empty horizon, a desperate final search for the gray shapes of the elephant herd. But there is nothing. Only the heat, the silence, and the slow, agonizing certainty of the inevitable. High above, a silent verdict is being written against the vast, empty canvas of the sky. A lone battlelure eagle circles, its sharp eyes missing nothing. Soon it is joined by another, and then a pair of vultures, their dark forms carving lazy, patient ellipses in the air. They are the grim accountants of the Serengeti, arriving to tally the dead. Their presence is a declaration, a public announcement that a life is nearing its end. They watch the impossible scene below, a trapped calf and two predators who make no move to kill. To them it is a confusing delay, but the outcome is assured. Their shadows drift over Naya, a fleeting, cool touch that promises a final, dark peace. Nia feels a profound weakness take hold, a heavy numbness that begins to creep up from her trapped leg. The world dissolves into a blurry mosaic of light and shadow. The immense figures of the lions are just golden shapes, no longer terrifying, simply there. Her head feels too heavy to hold up, and it sags toward the hot red dust. A final, shuddering breath escapes her. This is the end. From their position, Kale and Zahara see the surrender, the moment the will to fight finally breaks. A silent, urgent signal passes between them. The time was running out. Something needed to be done, or everything would be lost. It was the final, shuddering exhalation from Naya that broke the spell of paralysis. Kale watched the last spark of fight leave her body, and something ancient and powerful ignited within him. A deep, guttural growl, born not of hunger but of a profound and searing indignation, rumbled in his chest, a seismic tremor of decision. This was wrong. This slow, metallic death was an aberration, a stain upon the land he ruled. He turned his head, his golden eyes locking with Zahara's. In that shared gaze, an entire conversation passed without a sound. A question, an affirmation, and a shared resolve. The laws of the wild had been broken by an intruder of steel, and it was up to them, the apex predators, to restore the balance. The time for watching was over. The time for action had come. With a fluid heave of his powerful shoulders, Kale rose to his feet. It was not the silent, belly-to-the-ground movement of a hunt, but the deliberate, heavy-footed stride of a king on a mission. Each pawfall was a definitive statement against the red dust, a declaration of intent that sent a tremor through the very air. Across from him, Zahara mirrored the action, rising not to join an attack, but to establish a perimeter. She became a guardian, her body a tawny shield, her gaze sweeping the vast, empty plains. She was watching for threats, hyenas, another lion, anything, creating a sacred, protected space for the impossible work that was about to begin. Nia, through a haze of pain, saw the golden giant moving toward her and felt a final, weak surge of terror, believing the end had finally arrived. But the lion's path was not what she expected. Kale walked directly toward her, his immense presence eclipsing the sun, his scent filling her world, a primal smell of dust, power, and raw meat. Yet, he walked right past her head, his gaze fixed on a point beyond her. He paid her no more attention than he would a stone, his entire being focused with an unnerving intensity on the glinting wire that bit into her leg. The sheer proximity of the predator should have sent her into a final, fatal panic, but his complete lack of predatory intent was so baffling, so fundamentally wrong, that her fear was replaced by a profound, paralyzing confusion. She could only watch, her breath caught in her throat, as the monster ignored the meal to confront the trap. He reached the source of her agony and stopped. Lowering his massive head, Kale sniffed at the taut steel cable where it was wrapped around a half-buried rock, its anchor point. The alien scent of cold, manufactured metal was an offense to his senses. He nudged it with his nose, feeling its unyielding, dead resistance. This was the enemy. A low snarl of frustration escaped his lips as he opened his mouth, revealing the formidable canines built to crush bone and tear through the thickest hide. He was a master of flesh and blood, but this was a foe of a different nature entirely. How could the weapons of the wild possibly contend with the unfeeling strength of forged steel? The world slowed to a crawl, each second stretching into an eternity. Every muscle in Kale's powerful body tensed as he approached, his golden eyes burning with a singular focus that completely ignored the terrified scent of the small elephant. His world had shrunk to the glint of the sun on the taut steel wire. Lowering his massive head, the air grew thick with a coppery smell of Naya's raw wound and the cold, alien scent of the metal. Naya held her breath, her pain-filled vision narrowing to the terrifyingly beautiful sight of the lion's face, so close she could feel the heat radiating from his body. It was a terrifying yet strangely solid presence. From a short distance, Zahara stood guard, an unmoving sentinel creating a sacred protected circle around this impossible act. Kale's jaws, forged by millennia of evolution to crush bone and sever spines, opened wide. The afternoon sun glinted on the ivory points of his canines as they closed around the thick steel cable. The resulting sound was not the wet, satisfying crunch of a kill, but a dry, grating shriek of enamel against metal that violated the natural acoustics of the savannah. He pulled, the great muscles of his neck cording into thick ropes of sinew. The wire groaned in protest, a high-pitched metallic whine that vibrated through Nia's trapped leg, sending a fresh, electric jolt of agony through her exhausted body. But the wire held, a cold testament to its brutal efficiency. With a frustrated snort, Kale released his grip, his breath puffing clouds of red dust from the ground. Seeing his struggle, Zahara moved with a sudden, fluid grace that was breathtaking in its gentleness. She walked to Nia's side, her massive head lowering until her coarse cheek fur brushed against the cap's trembling flank. A low, deep rumble started in her chest, not a growl but a maternal purr, a calming vibration that traveled through Nia's small body, cutting through the sharp static of her pain and terror. Through the haze of near unconsciousness, Nia felt the steady, rhythmic sound and the soft touch against her skin. It was a message that transcended species, a silent plea that said, "Stay still. Trust us." The profound gesture gave Kale the crucial moment of stillness he desperately needed to try again. He repositioned his body, his huge paws digging into the dry earth, anchoring himself for a final, decisive effort. He seized the cable in his jaws once more, this time finding a slightly weaker, frayed point near the rock. This time, he didn't just pull. He twisted, using the immense rotational power of his neck and shoulders. A living engine of focused destruction. The muscles along his powerful back bunched and released in a wave of raw force. The cable screeched, its metallic song rising in pitch until individual strands of steel began to snap, each with a sharp trooping that cut through the heavy silence. Dust and tiny metal filings sprayed from the point of contact as the trap's integrity finally began to fail under the relentless, primal assault. With a final, explosive heave, the cable gave way. The snap was as loud and sharp as a rifle shot, echoing for a split second across the silent plains. The release of tension was so abrupt that Kale was thrown back, stumbling for a moment with the broken end of the wire still clenched in his teeth. For Nia, the sensation was one of shocking, instantaneous freedom. The agonizing pressure that had been her entire reality for agonizing hours was simply gone. She collapsed in a heap, her freed leg trembling uncontrollably, a limb that felt both numb and on fire. The world rushed back in a dizzying wave of sound and color as she took a deep, shuddering gasp, her first true breath of relief. A new kind of silence descended upon the scene, thick and heavy with the weight of a miracle. Kale dropped the severed wire, his chest heaving from the monumental exertion. Zahara remained by Nia's side, her golden eyes soft with an emotion that looked impossibly like concern. Slowly, painfully, Nia lifted her head from the dust. Her large, dark eyes, no longer clouded with pain or fear, fixed upon the two predators who had just defied every law of nature to save her life. The ancient script of hunter and prey had been utterly erased. But what happened in the next few moments would not just challenge the laws of the wild, it would rewrite them forever. Weeks later, the rains had come to the Serengeti, transforming the cracked red earth into a vibrant tapestry of green. The air was thick with the sweet scent of new life. Near the familiar waterhole, Nia's herd moved with a restored sense of peace. Her leg was fully healed, a thin, silvery scar on her skin, the only physical reminder of her ordeal. But inside, she was forever changed. She moved with a new confidence, her youthful curiosity now tempered by a profound wisdom. Not far away, under their customary acacia tree, Kale and Zahara rested. The invisible wall of fear that once separated predator and prey had vanished, replaced by a quiet, unbreakable understanding. The other elephants acknowledged them with a respectful calm, a silent deference to the kings who had become saviors. With a gentle rumble to her mother, Nia broke away from the herd. She walked not with the reckless abandon of a calf, but with the deliberate grace of an envoy on a sacred mission. Her mother watched her go, her gaze filled not with apprehension, but with a deep, knowing trust. Kale lifted his great, scarred head as the small elephant approached, his amber eyes holding a soft light of recognition. He saw not a potential meal, but a kindred spirit, a life he had chosen to preserve. As Nia drew near, Zahara let out a low, breathy chuff, the same impossible sound of reassurance from weeks before. It was their greeting, a private language forged in a moment of crisis, and now spoken with the ease of old friends. Nia stopped just a few feet from them, a distance that would have once been a death sentence. She raised her trunk, not in alarm, but in a gesture of profound respect and gratitude, a silent thank you that transcended all natural law. The three of them stood there, a living monument to a miracle, their shared memory hanging in the quiet air between them. This was the lasting impact of their encounter. Not just a life saved, but a new reality created. A corner of the wild where the ancient rules had been suspended by a force more powerful than instinct, the force of empathy. Their bond was proof that courage and compassion could build bridges across the deepest divides, rewriting the very definition of what it means to be wild. This astonishing testament to interspecies connection reminds us of a powerful universal truth. In a world that often feels fractured, nature reveals that the capacity for kindness is a fundamental instinct, not an exception. The courage to protect the vulnerable and the strength to show mercy are the ultimate measures of power, binding all living things together in a shared story of survival and grace. The unlikely friendship between a small elephant and two lions stands as a beacon of hope, proving that love is a language that every heart, human or animal, is born to understand. Do you also believe that animals can teach us about love? Share your story and subscribe for more moments that restore faith.